One, I want to first start off giving all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakah Kodash. Double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings unto the elect of the nation of Israel. This is the brother Abadia from the GMS Houston camp, and I want to go into the topic about the milk of the scriptures. Okay, what is the milk of the scriptures? And this is mainly for the men that's on the other side, or I can just simply say the men that just are coming into the encounter of this truth. Okay, so what is the milk? And I'm doing this. Oh, by the way, this is gonna be an in transit because I'm driving right now, so I'm not gonna be calling for. I'll be quoting and roughly paraphrasing scriptures, just to put that out there. So Second Peter 2 and 2. It's First and 2 Peter 2 and 2. I should know it, but it says this is out of the mouth of Peter. And who was Peter speaking to? He was speaking to the strangers that were scattered. You read that in 1 Peter, the first chapter, starting at the first verse. Right? Those are Israelites that were scattered in those different areas that Peter mentioned. All right? And then he went on to say in 2 Peter 2 and 2, if it's not 2 Peter, it's 1 Peter, but I believe it's one or the other. Salakia for that. But what did Peter say? Desire the sincere milk of the word. That's the beginning stage that we all must start. We must start with the milk. And I posed the question, what is the milk? The milk is the basic. I'm not going to even use the word basic. It is the fundamental going into foundation. The foundational building blocks of the doctrine. Okay? Or you can say of the scriptures. That's what we must, that's the order, and that's what we must get first. We must first be solid on the milk. That's the foundation right there. You know? Like in the sports world, the foundation, well, let's use a particular sport. Let's choose one. Let's say basketball. Use basketball. I will use boxing, but I'm not a boxing expert, so I don't want to, say the wrong thing. But let's use basketball. The milk of basketball is the foundation. The foundation. They got a guy named y'all know him, Tim Duncan, that played for the San Antonio Spurs. He was called Mr. Fundamental because he wasn't into doing a bunch of wasn't really no flashy. He didn't have a flashy game. He wasn't going through the legs and doing these acrobatic dunks, and these hard type shots. He was his footwork. He had good footwork, fundamental footwork. He knew how to, and he'd get knew how to get the ball in the basket. All right. On a basic level. So when I'm not gonna use, I used him, but going back to just the game of basketball, but I want to mention him because he had the nickname Mr. Fundamental. So what's the fundamentals? Layups, knowing how to do a layup, left hand, right hand layup, knowing how to dribble the ball, and knowing the rules of the game. Knowing the rules of the game, knowing how to dribble good, knowing how to do layups, and know how to shoot the ball correctly, having good form when you shoot. And I'm just using that as an example. So going back to the scriptures, the same thing with the scriptures. The base, knowing that we're supposed to come in this thing and we're supposed to desire the basic, I'm using the word basic again, the fundamental building blocks to the doctrine that we teach. And I hadn't been taught this, I ain't heard this from the apostles, but this is just, something that I say. The basics is really being able to deal with the Christianity doctrine and dispel the false teachings of Christianity. Like, for example, knowing how to go into the Gentile topic, because they'll tell you in Christianity that all the Gentiles that we read about in the New Testament that would receive salvation are talking about the other nations. So we have to know how to correctly deal with that topic and show that salvation is, those Gentiles were Israelites in a Gentile state of mind, and the salvation is only for the children of Israel. Knowing how to go into the virgin birth and deal with that topic and break that topic down correctly. Knowing how to deal with hell and break down what hell is and go into the scriptures about hell. All right? Bringing out the color of the Heavenly Father and His Son and the Israelites. Just using those topics as an example. Now, we all know, if we go to the book of Isaiah, the 28th chapter, starting around the 9th verse, the Most High asks the question, whom shall I teach knowledge, and whom shall I make to understand doctrine? And he says, the answer is them that are weaned from the milk, all right, sucking on the breast of the scriptures. I just went into that. And then when you're solid on that, scriptures go on to say, then you can be drawn off the breast, pulled off the breast. But first you got to get built up in the milk. All right? That's what when we all came in contact with this truth through hearing the gospel, all right, from Great Millstone, that was the beginning process of us being born again as newborn babies. Okay? Because a newborn baby can't chew meat, can't chew solids. It can't even swallow baby food. Okay? The babies have to drink milk and get the key fluid that got all the nutrients in it. It's jam-packed with nutrients. It's called colostrum. Okay, and that's the main fluid that's coming out of the breast milk that babies get to build up their foundation, to get them to where they can eat soft food and then eventually solid food, right? We got to take the same approach when coming into this truth. Being born again, meaning we starting over like a little baby. And babies don't start off getting deep and going into deep breakdowns and reading all these different books, books that coincide with the scriptures as far as history, icon books, things of that nature. All right? You need to get coming into this thing, you need to get the fundamental building blocks to this doctrine and know it. Then you be on the road to success, growing. Because going back to what Peter said, desire the sincere milk of the word that you may grow thereby. Without the sincere milk of the word, there will be no growth. The scriptures say out of the mouth of Paul, let everything be done decent and in order. Well, that's the order. You got to start with the milk. Got to start with the milk. Oh, another thing, you gotta learn the name, how to go into the scriptures and break down the name, the Heavenly Father Yahweh, and His Son's name Yahweh Shai. You gotta learn some basics of the Hebrew. Got to get into our language. Yahweh Shai told Nicodemus, that's St. John the 3rd chapter, when Nicodemus asked the question, roughly paraphrasing, what must I do to enter in the kingdom or life? Forget exactly how it's worded. And Yahweh Shai said, you must become as a newborn babe. You know? Yahweh Shai talked about, I can't remember how it go at the time, forgive me. But anyway, going back to the account with Nicodemus, that's why Yahweh Shai said that. You must become you must have the mindset, basically, or to use an analogy of a newborn babe. You got to be like a child. A child needs to be taught, and they have to be taught basics. I learned how to walk. You know what I mean? Got to learn how to say your ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. You know. In the same situation with the truth. And if you don't follow that order, then you're not gonna grow and you're not gonna build. And it may seem like you're growing. Give me a second. Salakia for that. I had my phone on Do Not Disturb, but I guess somehow a call came through. So going back to what I was saying, Salakia for that, it kind of threw me off. Yeah, that's the order, man. You got to start with the fundamental building blocks. Got to set that foundation. And then, so that's the Most High gave us the recipe for success. And if you don't, and we just seen guys, really doing this lesson, as an admonishment to the new men, not to come in this thing trying to get deep. Like the apostles told us, stay 1 deep, not 2 deep. You want to go off into super spiritual things, and then you don't even have the milk. And we've seen it over the course of our tenure in this truth. Talking about the young brothers that have been in this thing for 13, 15 years. The same men come in with the wrong mentality, trying to really show that they got, more knowledge than the next brother, more knowledge than the apostles in some cases. And what do the scriptures say? Knowledge puffeth up. That's another thing about a baby. Children are humble for them, when we're not around, have been corrupted anyway. When you're a little child, you were humble. A baby, you're humble. All right? When you and we coming in as babies, we come up under the proper instructors, teachers. All right? When you come up the wrong way, you get proud. And when you disobedient to parents, I'm gonna do it my way. Then that knowledge puffeth up. Now you thinking, now you got the big head. So I'm gonna end the lesson right there. Lord willing, it was edifying. And until the next one, I say shalom.